Welcome to today's webinar. So happy that you guys are joining us to learn about how to win visibility in the age of AI search. And I have a special guest with me today. I have my friend Rob Glover. He is one of the senior copywriters here at Local IQ. So he's very excited to join the session to give us his take and his expertise along the way as we go through all of this awesome content that we have lined up for you today. Rob, if you want to say hello and welcome everybody to the webinar, you're welcome to come off mic.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I'm excited. I usually do most of my professional communication from behind a keyboard, so this will be fun.
Awesome. Well, as everybody is joining, we do want you to engage with us in the question box as we go through all of what we're covering today and also the live Q&A at the end. So to test out that question box, let us know where you're coming in from. I love asking this question because seeing everybody's responses pour in and it's just so spread out it's so cool that we've all gathered together to learn about how to win in this AI search, because don't we need it? So let me call out some of the responses. Let's see where people are chiming in from. We have Dayton, Ohio, Canada. We have Oregon, New Jersey. See, we are so spread out. I love it. We have Dallas, Texas, California. Okay, we know North Carolina. I was raised in Asheville, Charlotte. Argentina, hello. California. Bozeman, Montana. Ugh, those mountains are calling me. Let's see. And Rob, do you want to let everybody know where you're joining from as people are pouring in? I was looking for
Yeah, you
Florida.
mentioned North Carolina for sure. I'm based out of just outside of Charlotte, in a little town called Mount Holly, North Carolina.
Well, I do see several North Carolinas pouring in here, so that's awesome. Oh, we have a couple Asheville's in here. That's awesome. New York, I was waiting on a New York, didn't see one. Well, this is awesome. Okay, so we do have a lot to cover, and Rob is going to be kind of coming back and forth with me for conversational input and just sharing his real life experience and what it looks like in his world of content and what he's learned from other businesses and experts across industries. So let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty. So again, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. For everyone on this call today, just a couple housekeeping notes. So you don't have to worry about taking notes. This will be a recorded session and it will be posted onto Local IQ and WordStream's YouTube channels. And all the materials that you see here today that we cover will be sent directly to your inbox after the session. So just follow along. And just to make sure that we are on the same page of who we are, let's get some, kind of talking tracks on this. So Local IQ is a part of USA Today Co. And that helps businesses grow with digital marketing technology and a specialized team on the back end of every campaign. And the trusted reach of media solutions from USA Today Network. Together, we deliver the complete solution for connecting businesses with customers everywhere they are. So now, let's dive into the Local IQ platform. So the platform is how businesses like yours attract and retain the ideal customers. The digital marketing platform that has vertical specific data from over 5 million campaigns. And there's a personalized approach with us, from the local marketing experts who know your industry. And then we keep you a step ahead with the help of AI for better lead management and faster follow-up and conversions. And we are very proud to be a premier partner with all of the major advertising platforms. And all the beautiful badges and awards you see here is really only given to businesses that drive true success for their customers and display that thought leadership within the field and lead with innovation. So we are very proud. So now let's do some introductions on your host for today's webinar session. My name is Alex Howard. I am the brand manager of Local IQ. I come with 9 years in digital marketing and brand management, and I have a master's in executive management. And I have background in all the different hats of marketing, from sales to building out paid campaigns for across different verticals, end-to-end, search, social, you name it. I even owned my own marketing agency at some point. So, and then what has led me here today with Local IQ. And I am based out of Dallas, Texas. And I would love to stay connected with everybody that joins us today. And if you have any questions after the webinar, please feel free to add me on LinkedIn, and would love to talk. Stay connected. And without further ado, meet our guest host today. Rob, do you want to give yourself an introduction?
Sure. So I have 14 years in content marketing, copywriting, and my background before that was in business development, so sales and then marketing. As I mentioned, I'm based here in Charlotte. I grew up in Northern Illinois, but I've been here for many years. And same as Alex said, I love connecting with people on LinkedIn. I try to stay active there. So if you see me, say something.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. And of course, stay connected with our brands. We are on all of the major social media platforms, YouTube, visit our website, WordStream, and Local IQ. So now let's go over today's agenda. So what we have lined up for you today is we're going to cover how people used to search and what that looks like now today. Then we're going to focus on what you should focus on for more AI visibility in today's experience, and then how to apply these guidelines in one easy step. And then we're going to cover how you can differentiate your content in an AI world. And then we'll go into live Q&A with both Rob and I. But first, if you've joined our sessions before, you already know we love keeping you on your toes. So pop quiz. So do you use Google or do you use an AI tool when you're looking for an answer? So do you open Chat GPT for an answer? Do you use Google Gemini, Claude, or do you just use Google AI mode in search? Personally, I'm a Claude fan. Rob, what about you?
Actually, yeah, I switched over to Claude a few months ago and have been really loving it.
Yeah. So type in the question box, what do you use when you are looking for some information when you're searching? And I'll call it a few answers that are coming through. Just Google, okay. I mean, why complicate it? Okay, we got another chat, GPT. Looks like AI search mode, all of the above. Okay, experiments. And honestly, I'll bounce between, it depends on what I want to use what goal is. If it's research, I'll use a different tool. If it's something I want just a question, then I'll use it in general, like a general tool, but then switch over if it's something like a big project. Gemini, Copilot. I'm actually seeing a lot of AI tools and not just Google. Actually, I think more AI tools are pouring in here than Google, which is very interesting. Okay, well, wish I can call every single one of you, but we got to get to the main events. So let's get into it. Let's look at how people used to search and what it looks like today. So what the customer search experience used to look like was someone searched, landed on a web page, learn, or began evaluating options there, right? Well, that is no longer the case today. So today, the search experience with AI often looks like they ask, AI summarizes and narrows down options, decides in that summary and those limited options, and then maybe click. So Rob, I'm going to tag you in for a better lens on how today's AI experience with search is impacting marketers and business owners. So are businesses actually losing visibility because of the AI search, or is the fundamentals of like SEO changing, becoming less important? Give us a rundown.
Yeah, I like this. I like we're getting to the good stuff right away. So from my mostly are losing to AI search is traffic at the very top of the funnel and then influence in the middle of the funnel. So what I mean by that, the losses at the top are because AI now gives answers to informational questions like, like how do I unclog a drain, or how do I optimize my website? I recently saw a stat that said something like 68% of all searches end up without a click now. And most of that will be from those informational queries because AI can answer it. As for the losses in the middle of the funnel that I mentioned, that's because AI search gives recommendations when people enter queries like best plumber near me. So instead of getting like a list of links that they used to get, now a buyer is going to get this personalized recommendation on the results page. So there's a loss of the ability to influence in that middle of the funnel a little bit. Some of that kind of sounds like gloom and doom because we're talking about losing traffic, especially for those businesses that get a lot of their leads from search. But there's two things I really hope people take away from this part of it is that, first of all, Google still processes 13 billion searches a day. So even if only 30% of those generated clicks to an external site, that's like a lot of traffic that's still up for grabs. Second, there's a lot to be gained by being visible and recommended by the newer AI search platforms. And I would even argue that a flattering AI mention of your business when somebody says, best dog walker near me, in the right search might be more influential than simply ranking on those older list of organic links. And then kind of best of all to remember is that there are ways that you can influence both recommendations and how people search in the first place. When you keep that in mind, you realize that you still have a lot of power here. And I think we're going to get into some of that a little bit later, but I wanted to mention a quick spoiler here that a lot of this is just simply SEO best practices that people have already been doing for years. But I've kind of added a spoiler that we'll get to here in a minute.
No, I love it. Well said. Very well said. Thank you for breaking that down for us. Now, let's go even further. So, um, why this matters, and kind of literally saying exactly what, just echoing what Rob said, why this change in what it used to look like to what it looks like today matters, and what gets lost is one question produces one answer that explains the problem, names options, narrows the field. So one of the most important changes AI has on search and the customer journey is now customers arrive to sites that have already learned the category, have already seen alternatives, have that internalize trade-offs, right? So your site becomes a decision instead of shaping it. It confirms a decision. So your site confirms a decision instead of shaping their decision. So what gets lost in AI search today is the nuance disappears. First, if AI can't explain what your business actually is in a very short paragraph, your positioning is incomplete. And it won't make it into the AI summaries that are being generated, and because AI keeps what it can explain quickly, safely, everything else gets flattened. So what do we need to focus on for that AI search visibility? Let's dive in. Of course, we're going to go back to, like Rob said, the core foundations of SEO. They are still effective. They are still grandfathered into what is going to excel and expand your discovery in today's new AI search results. So 3 core signals: intent. What are you trying to do? What problem does this answer? Okay. So expertise. Try to mention who's speaking. What should the answer, or why should the answer be trusted? And context. Who is this for? Where does it apply? And what should the reader do next? Whenever you're writing out content, whenever you're trying to intros for AI for any of your copy on your website. And honestly, you shouldn't apply this approach to just your homepage. Go beyond your website. Like the consistency matters more than the persuasion. And AI looks for repeated, trustworthy signals across sources, and not just the polished homepage, right? It actually wants to chime in with, I want to chime in with Rob on this. So I find myself thinking about what it means to adapt more intentionally in everything we create as marketers, looking at these intent signals and writing with that intent. So, yeah, Rob, give us your thoughts. What is
Yeah.
it?
So
Go ahead.
sorry. Um, so one thing that I notice, and here's where things get interesting and even maybe a little bit contentious in the world of content marketing, because I see a lot of people or some people say that you need to change how you write dramatically in order to like coerce AI into citing your site and mentioning your content. But that's not been my experience, and there's starting to be some more data behind that. What it's really been about all along is doing the things that the right way when you create, say, a blog post, um, so that humans can understand it and process it, but maybe being a little bit more intentional about it. And here's kind of how that plays out. So we're talking about the first thing on this list, intent. You want to state very clearly what a piece of content is about, what's it about, who's it for in the introduction. So as an example, like you might say, this guide will show you how to bake the perfect cake from buying the ingredients to mixing properly, baking the right way, and cooling and icing. That sentence right there is telling human readers and also AI exactly what this post is about, and that's going to
Yep.
help you earn citations, not to mention making it a little bit easier for humans. For the
Mm-hmm.
expertise, for that second piece on this slide, you might that says something like, I've run a professional bakery for 8 years and have tested dozens of ways to bake a cake. So you not only show that you have experience, but you also show that you have done the thing that you're about to talk about, and the results are your own. Your conclusions are your own. And then to add a little bit of context to the post, you might say something like, I've created this guide for beginner bakers, so even if this is your first cake, you'll nail it right away. And then that's really going to influence AI when it's searching for answers for these very specific long queries like, I'm a beginner baker, I want to learn an easy way to bake a cake from beginning to end. Well, now this piece of content is set up exactly to do that, and AI knows that. So I hope people think like there's not really any tricks here. It's just kind of doing the things that were good content in the first place, that really helped human readers, but little bit more intentional and maybe getting that stuff closer to the top of the post so that everybody and all the AI systems comprehend it right away.
100%. And honestly, I think this type of writing format is, again, a reason why that this practice sticks is because one, in a world full of content where it's a plethora everywhere, when I'm reading something, what's the point of this? Like, what am I reading? And if I can't make sense of the value that you're trying to deliver in this piece of content, I'm over it. So, like, I will go and look elsewhere for somebody that is more direct in the value, what this means to me as the reader. So, just chiming off of that. That was great, Rob. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I love
Go ahead.
that, and I don't know if people's attention span is actually short in the way they say, but I can guarantee their filter for junk has absolutely gotten way better, and those are some ways that you can get through that junk filter really quickly.
100%. And we're actually going to cover more of that later in this webinar. But first, pop quiz. So I want to know, do you think, or what do you think AI trusts more? What do you think AI trusts more? What a business says about themselves? Or do you think AI would trust what customers says about that business? Which one do you think AI trusts more, or what would pull from? Because, here we are talking about all the different, you know, cross channels that you need for to put your presence on, and which is very true. And customers' reviews are only on certain sites. Like, you can get that feedback through forums, social, obviously reviews. So yeah, I'm really curious what you would think AI would trust more. And of course, everybody in this chat is saying B. Okay, this is great. So I'm glad we're all on the same page, and I think this is a great kickoff to AI does not trust a single page is a really good point here. So it doesn't trust a single page. It looks for reputation across sources. And AI looks for that credibility and that reputation through signals from, that opening paragraph of core pages. Like if, that main introduction that we just covered with those intent signals, it's looking for that. Like, what does this mean? Frequently asked questions and definition sections are a good signal. The service comparison pages, reviews I just mentioned, forums, listings, blog summaries are all really good signals that AI relies on. And okay, I'm going to chime you in again, Rob. This points to several things businesses can do that's not on their websites, like forums and listings. But what are a few things marketers can do and pieces of content to support these ideas?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because when you think about that quiz that we just did, I think you could probably sum it up something like AI learns from your website, AI verifies on other websites. So when I
Ooh, I
mentioned a
like
few of the
that.
things that I mentioned a minute ago about the things that I might put, say, in an intro of a blog post, that's how I'm teaching and to some degree verifying my credentials. But I want to add a couple more here that I would do in content in general. So for credibility, I like to include and name expert sources. So I mentioned doing that in the intro where, like, if I'm the expert, that's always very helpful. But it's also really useful to get quotes and opinions and facts and things from other experts in your field and
Oh, yeah.
include them into the content. As AI kind of scans what it's scanning through your post, you're telling AI that your content is professional and trustworthy, not just because you said it is, but because other people that it can verify are voices in your industry. It can verify that these voices are also kind of corroborating what you're saying. As
Mm-hmm.
for the repetition piece of it, I like that we're calling out the FAQs and the definition sections. I'd add those to any informational blog post, definitely. And those you can write very directly. They don't have to have anecdotes and flowery bits to it. It's just really, here's the answer. And another really important repetition tactic is to have solid internal linking because you're between your pages. So it's not just the words, you're
Yeah.
also linking in between related pages. What that's always been important, but it also helps AI platforms learn that you're an expert in a whole category, not just this one single aspect of it. So it will come back to you more often if it knows it can find its answers for this general topic on your website.
That was, yeah, very well said and really good points, Rob. So we're going to kind of tackle off of that and go back to foundational SEO. So that goes to Google's Eat, where it's about experience. That content creator has firsthand and the life experiences with the topic. We're going to go to that authoritative and where the content creator or the website is known as the go-to source for that topic. And so going back to linking all of your credible sources and your pieces of content that bring you that expertise and authority, there you go. That's perfect practice for this. And the necessary knowledge or skills for this, you got to have that credibility, mentioning the expert and their background. And that's a good to have those, like, if you go to a blog and you see a little about the writer, that's what's really crediting the source and like the expertise behind the piece that you're reading. And so trust, and then the page is accurate, honest, safe, and reliable. These are all best practices that should be still followed today in order to help you with AI search visibility. And let's talk about local relevance and trust signals. So this ad example that you see here is what I like to call the strong trust builder, like local ads example. And so why this is relevant is because they are, they're just local relevance is on point, and they are dominating on their authority and their trust signals. They are doing reviews and ratings, the 103 years in business, and the real image that relates to the business and can be linked back to their website. multiple paths to action, and honestly, okay, actually, Rob rants and raves about listings being one, if not the best practices for visibility. So tell us, Rob, your why.
Yeah, I probably get more emotional about online business listings than any other human on earth, but I promise it's for kind of a good reason because of what I do for a living. I end up chatting with a lot of local business owners who are looking, to get more leads online, and they'll just kind of offhanded ask me for some quick tips and things like that. And one of the first things I always ask them is if they've optimized and updated their Google business profile, meaning like,
Mhm.
do they list their services? Have they added photos? Are the hours of operation and contact details correct? Do they have a bunch of really positive reviews? Are they replying to them? All that good stuff. And without having taken an official poll, I would say 99% of the time, they say no to at least some of that. So a while back, that led me to run an experiment where we business listings on Google and Yelp and such of 100 random home services business from a few different cities. 85% of them had incomplete or incorrect information or both on their listing. So that's people maybe getting an incorrect phone number or not seeing their address, whatever it might be. Um, Squaring away those listings, especially your Google business profile, is so important. It's how humans find you. It's how search algorithms understand you, especially obviously Google. And also now it's how AI learns a lot about your business outside of your website. That's probably the second most visited site by AI to learn about a local business and to learn if it can trust you. So,
100%.
you know, I'm empathetic to how time consuming keeping all those up can be, but there are some free tools and affordable services that can help with it, and I highly recommend that people focus on that.
I could not echo and advocate for what Rob just covered more. And well said. 100% agree with all of that. And big pro tip also, as we're kind of coming through what trust signals look like to pick up in these AI searches. But these signals shouldn't just stop at SEO, AI search optimization. I really think the strongest marketing strategies don't separate visibility and advertising. They connect them, okay? So think about factors that help someone choose your business. Obviously, the reviews, the ratings, years of experience, customer success stories, expertise, proof that you deliver results. So those factors can also make your paid marketing more effective. And when someone sees your ad, they're asking the same questions they're asking in or the organic search experience. Can I trust this business? Right. And so that's why we bring those trust signals into paid marketing strategies as well. And whether somebody finds you through AI search, Google search, or a local service ad, um, social media, website, they should see the same story and who you are, what makes you different, why customers trust you. And when those signals are consistent across channel, you can create a stronger brand presence and you can stay top of mind longer, and you make it easier for customers to choose you when they're actually ready to buy. So now, how do we apply all of what we just covered into one step? So, in one step, when you are reviewing a page, ask yourself, would a customer who already trusted your business find this genuinely useful? When reading each page as a prospective customer would, and look for specifics, evidence of experience, of experience and expertise, the practical guidance rather than general statements. That is truly how you can, I think, like switch into those core intentions signals that we just covered throughout all your content and also your marketing strategy. Pop quiz, make sure you guys are still with us. So, what is the first thing that makes you think, yep, AI definitely wrote this? Um, so, would love to hear in the question box, what is the first thing that says, okay, this is definitely written by AI? So, think back to like the last article you read, an email, or LinkedIn post. that felt obviously AI written. What gave it away? Rob, I want to hear from you. When you audit content today, what are the red flags for content that sounds like it was AI generated?
Oh boy, there's a few of them too, and I'll bet I have the same ones as most of the people in this in the chat. But the first one to me is the it's not X, it's Y structure. Like it wasn't just a
Oh
win,
my
it
gosh,
was a
yes.
statement. I
Yes.
mean, I know AI learned to write from us. Who was doing that? Who taught AI to do that? I don't know, but it drives me nuts. And then the other one that really gets me is the sort of bombastic in the ever-changing world of whatever. And it 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 really jumps out at me because every time I hear that, I think I hear it in like a movie announcer's voice,
I know, it
like
sounds like so
in
cinematic.
yeah, it's like in the world of it was an ad campaign. It was a statement. It's like, oh my God, that's nobody would talk like that. I know the other side too. Like when you look at a website and they've published 50 similar blog posts in a single day, that's not happening by human writers. So there
No
are
one,
some other
yeah.
things too.
Okay, okay. Actually, let's see what everybody in the chat is saying. So, emojis before copy. Interesting. Okay. M dashes. Okay. F 100%. Punctuation. Okay. No grammatical errors. Where's the human error? Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag weirdly specific, hashtag, hashtag nobody cares. That's fantastic. Um, let's see. Yes. Oh, like super flowery, puffery text where it's like, yes, the empty filler words where it's like, what does seamless even mean? Like seamless experience, or what do you mean innovation? Okay, like show me, like what are you innovating, and be more specific. Yes, those like puffery filler words. The word foster, interesting. We have a lot of M dashes. Anything else you want to add to that, Rob? Or are you good?
Only that I'm going to defend my use of the M dash, but I
Okay.
swear if it's more than one or two in an entire blog post, it's probably AI.
Yes, no, I think if you're on social and there's a caption that has more than two, and again, it depends on what you're actually writing about, because I mean, M dash that's been a thing. That's established before AI was even a thing in writing. So whenever I intently read it, it is an emotional pause. There's a statement to be made. But I do think it's gotten worn out, and I think the overuse of it has absolutely given people like the sense of burnout that it was AI, like written by AI. So totally get that. Now let's go over a couple of my red flags that are like when we did a study, and then a Rob actually listed out a whole 14 of red flags, which ones that really spoke to me. So red flags that your content sounds like AI generated, headlines that could belong to anyone. So I have a big ick for the all-in-one headline. That sounds fine, right? But could sit on literally any competitor's site without changing meaning. And every sentence follows the same rhythm. That's a big flag for me. When the tone, like it just, you can tell it is dun 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 dun, or the three weird thing for it. It's just the same rhythm. And full of claims, but nothing concrete to anchor them, no examples or proof points, just again, that empty puffery. And another one is when everything is presented so positive and no limitations, no downsides, just vibes. So I'm excited to actually, Rob, let me chime in here again. How do you balance writing content that's AI friendly without sounding like a robot wrote it?
Yeah, this is such a great topic to talk about because I think earlier, in a long, long time ago, like 6 months, when AI was really taking over content, maybe a year ago, people were thinking about this a little bit too much, and they were doing like, if you've ever heard of the term content chunking, where they put everything in one little thing. It's such a gross sounding term. Um, but I think you don't have to do that much. So my first point here is if you're writing something and you're a human, it is by nature human sounding. So if you take nothing else away, take that away. If it's you writing about whether it's like AI, because it is you. That said, there's something that I like to do that sort of balances between what AI needs and what humans need. It's a term that I learned a while ago as a writer called BLUF, BLUF. So bottom line up front, and it basically means that whatever your most important point, whatever the actual definition of the thing that you're trying to say, you say that first. So what's a piece of information you need AI and human readers to understand? You write that first. You write it clearly. If you're writing crime novels or suspense or like novels and like misdirection, that's fun. But if you're teaching somebody something like how to engage on social media or giving an opinion on a hot topic in your industry, that first sentence of every like subsection of your post, it needs to clearly to answer the inherent question that's in that subtitle. So if it's like, why is engagement important on social media? Your first sentence should be something like, engagement is important on social media because X, Y, Z. Then you can expand below that. And I bring that up here because I mentioned earlier when AI scans your post, it's going to know the note the intro, it's going to note the subheads, and you want to tell it exactly what's going on right away. But that also, the reason that balances out well, because it's also a device that really helps humans scan and understand your content. So remember that bottom line up front, answer the subhead in the first sentence, and then be yourself after that.
I love it. So now let's go through what the 3 ways to differentiate your content or your content could be in the AI world. And I'm going to hand it over to Rob. So Rob, take us through your top 3.
Yeah, thank you. So the three the first that I really love is using original data. So building stories around original data. As you mentioned, it makes, we're talking about what makes things stand out in an AI kind of world. And it stands out because by nature, generative AI can't create new things. It can only copy existing content. So if you have a new piece of data or information, it proves that your content is original. But it also acts as like a Swiss Army knife of content because it also helps you gain AI invisibility because AI platforms are going to cite your data. It helps you get linked by other websites because other writers want to use your data. It gives you something to repurpose in different forms of content. So many different uses for original data. But the one thing that I hope people consider here is that it doesn't have to be, you don't have to like hire PricewaterhouseCooper to create a huge study for you. You can literally run a poll on Instagram or LinkedIn and ask something like, what's your favorite post-workout snack, right? And then post those answers, say like 18 to 20 people said this was their favorite. And then that becomes something new, original, and it also shows people that you're engaging with your audience rather than just hitting a prompt on an AI copywriter.
100%. No, those are great tips. All right, bring the number 2. Right, for your specific audience. All right, tell us how to do it.
This one's a little bit more nuanced, but what we're really talking about here is knowing your audience and then speaking the way they speak. So that can mean a few things. It could mean like using industry terminology. It could mean if you're writing for local local cultural phrases, you might use those. Or it could mean using an example or a joke that that specifically is about people in your target audience. Like for example, if I'm writing about starting an Instagram page for local businesses, I'm going to do a few things. Like I'm going to use examples from small local businesses instead of large technology companies. I'm going to be empathetic to the idea that the person that I'm talking to is also baking the bread and turning the wrenches. They may not have a lot of time to figure out social media. I might focus on results like getting foot traffic or marketing to a neighborhood instead of generally talking about like targeting huge audiences. And then if possible, go deeper. Like if there's a service or a tool or something that everybody in your industry uses and hates, make a joke about it. That helps you become an insider. And that's not something that AI can do.
I love that, 100%. All right, last one. So
So
first, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I got excited. Sharing firsthand experiences is it's kind of uh, almost like firsthand data. It works a lot in the same ways. But I kind of think about content. There's this hierarchy of the way I think about good content, and I come back to it a lot. So in good content, I'll tell you how to do a thing. In better content, I'll have an example and tell you how somebody else did a thing. But in the best content, I'll tell you how I did that thing. And just like original data, basing your content on things that you actually did is such a strong differentiator because AI is not going to do those things. So it can't write about it. It can only mention what other people have done. So you can, AI can't spin up a blog post about how it tried different types of yoga. It can't give you a peek behind the curtain of how your business is run or how the factory works, and it can't give you a unique or contrarian point of view based on its own lived experiences. Those are things that you can do.
That is, yes, notes to live by. Thank you. And man, we're already at the end. Okay, so we're going into closing thoughts first. Thank you so much, Rob, for sharing those 3 ways to differentiate and stand out in the world of AI when everything is starting to look and sound the same. Stick to original content and being you. Love that. And that's actually going to wrap us up here too. So, one of my first takeaway, SEO, GEO, AI search, all point to the same goal. Like search is changing, but the goal hasn't changed. Engage people while they search for answers online and convert them into customers. SEO is not dead, AI is just expanding it. And just going off of what Rob's best practices were and sharing those tips, everyone can use AI to create content. Be original. Real expertise, real examples, those original insights, authentic customer experiences. Use AI for efficiency. Don't let it strip your brand identity and your voice. And now that everyone can use it, AI, and a lot of content and creative are starting to all look and feel and sound the same, brand is the differentiator and what people actually are going to remember. AI, so yeah, use AI for efficiency, but keep branded content real. It is power. The last one, visibility, this equals those trust signals. So visibility strategy needs to match your customer journey. And credibility signals AI, those reviews, that ratings, the listings, the branded content, those visibility cross-channel wins AI answers. And the new SEO reality is you get recommended by AI, show up in AI search results, then you get chosen by customers. So as marketers, we've spent years mastering SEO or SEO content branding. And just as we get comfortable, the ground shifts again. And AI is going to keep changing search, and how people find and choose businesses will keep changing. And so this is also a reminder to find some grace. You don't need to have all the answers today, but it does give peace of mind to move forward with intention, knowing where you actually stand. So, as a thank you for joining us, and hope that it can bring a little peace of mind through all of this change that's happening. Before we go into Q&A, we're going to pop up a poll question on the screen with our final closing. If you want to see how visible your business is in AI search compared to your competitors, you can find out with our free assessment. And it's just as a thank you for joining us. The audit is free. There's nothing to lose. There is no catch. You can just get a better understanding and really see how you're doing versus your competitors, what that competitor landscape looks like, and how you can improve where you currently sit for better results and show up in AI search results. So if you're interested, click yes. If not, that's okay. And while everybody is answering that, we will go ahead and roll to our live Q&A. And would love to take any and all questions that you guys have for Rob and I for anything that we covered today. Yeah, and I did see several pour in as we were going through some slides, so I'll go back and look at those. But yeah, so feel free to ask any questions and we're happy to answer. I will say, let me look through here. Wow, you guys are active. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Do you have any rules on word count or grammar that would help us write an AI friendly summary for our businesses? Rob, I'm passing that one to you.
Oof. I wish I did. So you're saying an AI summary for your business. I don't. Definitely not word count. I would say that the main thing is, sorry to bring this back, but talk about the concept of bluff again. Just make sure you're getting whatever's the most important piece of information in the top. So if you provide, if you're a physical therapist who specifically works with older clients in a particular neighborhood, like whatever your summary is, whatever wherever you're placing it, put that stuff in the first couple of sentences. Let AI and people know exactly who you are, where you are, what you do. And also, here's the thing: a lot of people might miss is how you're differentiated. You might be differentiated
Yeah.
by the clients that you work with, by the pricing that you have, by whatever it is, by the context in the industry. I don't, whatever it is, get that in those first couple of sentences. However else you need to tell your story, but get those differentiators, your location if that matters, get all that in the very first couple of sentences, and then expand on that. I hope that helps
Yeah.
a little.
I would say, from what I've read from some of our experts, is the first 200 words. If you can get your statement across that first paragraph, the first 200 words, that's your that's your happy medium, I think, for good balance on word count. Next question. How do you balance the presenting everything as positive red flag when it comes to ads? I would say there, if you're presenting everything as positive, what I meant by that red flag is everything is great. We're the best at what we do. We have everything that you need all in one. Okay, but it's not being specific to why the problem you're solving for, why you exist, why you are providing that product or that service, what benefit that it actually gives your target audience, right? So when I say that in an ad context, if you want to, I don't think having your ratings, your reviews, your years in business, what your vertical specific is, or what area, I don't think that is presenting everything as positive. I think that's owning your authority and credibility of what you've built and the great work that you deliver and that you're proud of and that you want customers to know, and that's why they're going to choose to do business with you, you know? But the copy that is just empty words, but it's all happy and can have answer all your problems today. That is where I would say is a big red flag for not only in ads, but any of the writing that you do. Rob, do you have any input on that?
I would say that I would talk a little bit more about the work that I spend more time on, which is informational and educational content versus advertising copy. That's where that AI written stuff can really get too flowery and too positive, and it doesn't sort of admit the challenges that people face. It doesn't admit um, shortcomings or whatever it might be. Those pieces are where you be authentic self, if I can put it that way. And advertising is a bit tougher because yeah, you you don't want to put any of your shortcomings in a 20 word ad, but in a 3,000 word educational blog post, that's where you want to be very real about things. And AI sometimes isn't.
Well, and to kind of piggyback off that, if I want to go to like let's go look back at all the greatest that's made marketing what it is and what advertising what it is today. Um, they actually come from a place of let's sit in the seat of the customer or the person that we're talking to. How are they experiencing the problem and how are they feeling while they're experiencing that problem? What it is, that desired state, right? So it's the experience, what are they experiencing about that problem? What does it make them feel, or how does it make them feel? Then what is that desired state that that brand bridge is the solution to, right? It's really, I think, going and reflecting on the customer experience, customer centric. And I think if you speak to an audience like that in any of your writing and ads and then also blog, it's going to resonate and stick more because it's engaging in a personalized way and very human like, right? Okay, I
Yeah,
think we
for
got time
sure.
for one more. Rob, this one's for you. Rob, curious about your thoughts on Claude now tagging text as AI generated.
I am so glad I read up on that the last couple of days. So my personal views, this might be a time to say this is Rob Glover's personal views and in no way reflect anything about local IQ, but my personal views on AI writing is I think that there are a lot of traps and potential problems down the road with creating things whole from AI. Now, I know that there are some companies that I respect that are doing it and doing it well, doing it very thoughtfully. But I think that there are some negatives to that. And one of the biggest ones is if you look at the polls when you ask buyers, consumers, if they care if what they get from the brands that they work with, if it's created by AI, if they care or not that it is, I think most of the polls are going to show you that they do care. Now, they might be okay with some things. They might be okay, if you're using AI to pull insights from 10,000 pieces of data that you then humanize and put into your personal experience and explain it in a way that it helps people use that information for whatever. They might be okay with that. But to write a 3,000 word blog post. I saw one recently where it was a comparison post, and it was a first person comparison post between two products. Literally throughout the thing, I did this, I did this, I did this. But you noticed some of those weird AI catchphrases, and then you looked and you saw that they had published something like 30 of these comparisons in one day. If I'm the buyer for that potential buyer for that product, I feel so duped. So I sorry, that a little bit of a tangent, but coming back, I personally love it. I might change my mind as I learn more, but from what I've seen so far, let's be transparent. Whether we use AI, don't use AI, it's business specific. Your brand might need it, etc. It might benefit you great, but it needs to be transparent. And if we can do that automatically in everything that we see, even if it's just a video on Facebook, a fun video on Facebook, if we can, that's been tagged as creative AI, we might still enjoy it. It might be fine, but at
Right.
least now we know where it's coming from. So from the last couple of days of learning about it, I'm pro it, and then I'll change my mind if I read some some other thoughts.
Thank you, Rob. I actually will lean and agree with Rob. Like, I think that transparency is it's necessary. I do think that there needs, more guidelines like this to kind of just let people know what is real and what is not, and what's authentic, and just because it's getting harder to tell as AI advances. People will go on social, and there will be accounts that they're not real, but they have millions of followers, and you wonder, man, do people actually who engage with this content know that this is AI? So I do agree for transparency reasons, and for yeah, 100% agree with you, Rob. Well, guys, we are actually at time, and we thank you all so very much for sticking it out to the end with us, and for live Q&A and joining us. Thank you so much for your time. We will see you back here again soon. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.